Revolution Radio proudly presents, live from the heart of the Blue Ridge, Roanoke, Virginia. It's the Just Bernard Show with host Bernard Alvarez. Join Bernard as he shares topics that reveal the real matrix and empower your human experience, including world liberty, the esoteric, suppressed technologies, spiritual ascension, and human consciousness. Humanity has awakened, and our time has come to realize our full potential. And now, live from the Star City, your host, Bernard Alvarez.
Let me share with you a little bit about Gordon Asher Davidson. He is the co-founder of the Center for Visionary Leadership in California. He is the author of the book, The Transfiguration of Our World, and the co-author of The Practical Visionary, Spiritual Politics, and Builders of the Dawn. He is a co-founder of Sirius, an ecological village and spiritual community in Massachusetts, and a founding director of the Social Investment Forum. Very busy man and someone who does the kind of work that I like to support. So without further ado, welcome to the show, Gordon. How are you today?
I am very well. Thank you, Bernard. It's great to be back with you. And as I was saying, I really enjoyed our previous interview and look forward to having another really exciting one.
Yes, I have a feeling that's going to be a very good one today. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start. Let's jump right in. A lot of people may have read your book, and I'm sure they've probably listened to you on my show. One of the your archives with me are usually one of my more popular shows, so that's a really good thing. And but perhaps we haven't really gone into how you developed your relationship with the Light Alliance. Can you tell us a little bit about how they let you know they were there and how your whole relationship with them started?
Yes, certainly. That's a very, very interesting, fun story. Well, I've been a meditator for 30 years, very serious, intensive meditation work, not only individual, but also working with groups all around the world, helping to bring in light and powerful love energies and then distribute them to places around the world where they need to be, like in the Middle East and many other places. And I've been working with this for a long, long time. Well, about 20 years ago, we had quite an incident in our lives. An arsonist burned our house to the ground in our spiritual community, and we basically had to leave the community because we had no place to live. And we went sort of exploring, all over the country and giving talks and all that. And I was very upset and angry about this, of course, because, I'm a good spiritual person doing all this great work, and why am I getting my house burned to the ground? And it turned out that it really was a lesson in my own letting go of my free will, personal choice, not listening to higher guidance. That's really what it was about, because we had moved back to our community and we're not staying in Washington, D.C., where we were supposed to be to open up a center there and do work there. So after all that learning and realizing that I really had to let go of my extreme personal will, I'm a very willful individual, so I said, all right, finally, ultimately, I said, I surrender, I give up, I don't know what I'm supposed to do now, I will just let go. I'm going to seriously let go of my personal will, which I did, and it took a while, about 6 months. And then I actually, at that moment, a presence came into my meditation that I had never experienced before, and I knew who it was. It was one of the masters who I know of, and came in and let me know who he was, and that he was there, and that I was to develop a relationship with him. So that commenced from that point on. And I one of the first things he said was, well, we're going to have to train you. And I said, great, I'm ready. He said, well, the first thing you need to do is develop more personal will. And I said, what? I said, I don't need more will. I need more love. I have plenty of will. He says, congratulations, you just passed the first test. Don't accept anything we ever say if it doesn't make sense to you.
Ah, wonderful.
And that was a wonderful sort of understanding of how they
Yeah.
function. So that point on, I went forward with him and was trained for a long period of time, about a year, in how to work in the inner planes, how to meditate and make these contacts and sort through all the different kinds of things that come in when you meditate. And a tremendous amount of wonderful, extremely valuable help in all of that. And then ultimately, he started sharing with me more about what's going on the planet in detail and where this is all going, what's happening. And that's when he started to share about the fact that there is this whole galactic light alliance between humanity and these beings from outside the planet who are very benevolent and lighted. And then also shared, of course, about the cabal, the dark side. Has been able to manipulate and control our planet for a very long period of time, millennia actually, and that there was now a major plan in place to steadily substitute the higher energies for this lower control that's been present. This was all really brought to a focal point with 9/11. 9/11 was one of the most important events ever happened on our planet, not for the reasons people think. What happened was, at that time, when they did that false flag to, stimulate the war on terror and all this stuff, and Patriot Act and all these things to gain more control, the Solar Council, that group that actually makes decisions about many key changes and things that are happening on our planet, what energies are going to be available, made a decision to actually issue a decree that gave permission to the galactic civilizations to actually begin to remove the control forces, the dark aliens that were here doing so much damage and interference with our planet. So that happened at that time. And that allowed the Galactics to remove a lot of these control forces. But still, we have a huge buildup of humans who have been cooperating with the Cabal for many, many centuries. And they did not want to release their control. They were not allowed to be removed. But that became the task of the Galactic Light Alliance and humans who are working with them to actually begin to expose their activities and to substitute lighted ideas and vision and understanding for what they have been doing with the planet for so long. And so at that point, the Galactic Light Alliance was given permission to increase the amount of light and love that they were radiating to the planet. That was all around 2002. And that was a very powerful time. And it began the whole increase in energy, the awakening of humanity in a whole new level. And that has been going on ever since, steadily increasing. So now we have a situation where the activities of the Light Alliance are very, very pronounced. And there has been a very well-developed plan that has been communicated to many of the leadership of the world and to including political leaders, all kinds of leaders worldwide, and many, many people are picking this up, telepathically in their meditations. There is this huge shift going on. People are talking about it in various degrees of understanding, but I have been given a very specific, detailed explanation of exactly what's happening, what's planned, and where it's all going. I outlined all that from all these communications in my book, The Transfiguration of Our World, and of course you can find that online, and it gives a great deal of detail about what is actually happening and where we're going in the future. So I am available now to take whatever steps I can to help this process. I'm offering an online monthly show called Galactic News, Updates from the Light Alliance, where I give all the latest information that I'm receiving to the public. And you can sign up for that. It's totally free on livethefuturenow.com. That's our website, livethefuturenow.com. And you can sign up there and you can tune in, and it's also recorded. You can watch it anytime. But it's on the first Saturday of every month at 10 o'clock California time. So
Great.
we are in the process. Go ahead.
No, that's fantastic. Continue, please. You're in the middle of something.
Okay, I thought you were starting to say something, but I didn't cut you off. Okay, yeah. So now we are, in a process where the cabal, who has had tremendous control over the financial system and with all that money over the political system, as you all know, it's becoming clearer and clearer. But their power is steadily waning. They're being stopped in many of these activities. Many of their plots and schemes and things they are doing have been exposed. And the Galactics are increasingly active on our planet. For instance, they did neutralize all the radiation from Fukushima. They are planning on allowing a complete reorganization and helping to facilitate a reorganization of our financial systems and our political systems so that the whole way that the finance is organized, including debt-based, interest-based money, will be eliminated. All previous debt is going to be eliminated, and we will enter a period when free energy is present. Ultimately, we will move towards a system where money is no longer necessary. That is the direction we're going. We're not, right. It's not going to happen tomorrow, but it's in process. And many agreements have been already set up amongst the nations. The whole BRICS new alliance, where they're offering to lend money to developing countries. And that's the BRICS are Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. They are working together with this new investment fund to provide money at a much more reasonable basis to developing countries. Much of this whole system is going to be radically changed as we go forward. But all of us who have money that we have legitimately earned or come by without illegal or distorted activity will be allowed to remain with us. But those who have gotten huge, incalculable sums of money from gaming the system, manipulating the financial system, doing all the stuff that the cabal has been doing for millennia, but certainly for centuries, all of that will be recovered and will be distributed in the world for the upliftment and the development of food, shelter, clothing, healthcare, everything that everyone on this planet needs to do well and to have a decent life. That is part of the plan, and it is very, very specific and very clear. Now, there's a lot going on with, we ask ourselves, how are we ever going to get beyond this tremendous resistance that we see everywhere in the world? And, anything that good that ever's done, immediately the cabal's all over it and tries to suppress it or distort it or manipulate it however they can. And that includes free energy. It includes all kinds of new health modalities that are available, and everything else. Well, part of the plan is that as the vibrational frequency of the Earth rises, each and every one of us is going to have the opportunity to raise our frequency more and more into love and become more aligned with and attuned to the energy field of love. And that will be the prime determinant of whether or not you will be able to stay on this planet and be part of the whole new cycle and building this beautiful new civilization that's coming into being on Earth. And the way that's going to work is at a certain time, and it's not that far off in the future, and I can give you a little timeline on it, there will be a release of love energy from all the way through our 7 solar systems that our solar system is part of. This being, each solar system is a chakra in a greater being, just like our Earth is a chakra in our solar system. And it goes on and on. Right. There will be, when those 7 solar systems are lined up, there will be this release of love so potent and so intense that unless people are aligned with or have some understanding of or resonance with love, they will not be able to remain on this planet. It will just be too much for them. It will be too intense. So those people will move off the planet and be taken to systems and places where they can continue their evolution at a frequency that matches their own. So this means all the people who are prone to violence and hatred and all the stuff that's going on here that we can't see how we're ever going to resolve it all of them will move into other systems, other places to continue their evolution with help and assistance at the level of frequency where they function. Meanwhile, those of us who are able to vibrate to love will be here on the planet. The love energy will become so strong and so powerful that it will change everything. And it will change how we think, how we feel, everything that's going on the planet. At that point, once those resistant forces that we're trying to control are gone, we as humanity, with help from the Light Alliance, will begin the process of completely reorganizing this planet so that everything, every system works for the benefit of all people on this planet. No more elite taking everything they can steal and leaving the crumbs for everybody else. This system is going to be completely transformed and transfigured. That is part of the plan that's already underway and in place. And of course, the Asian Infrastructure Bank I mentioned earlier is part of the beginnings of the emergence of that plan. There's much planning going on about how we're going to handle the currencies. There will be a new currency issued, which will be worldwide, backed by gold and other commodities, which will be universal. All national currencies will be convertible in and out of that world currency, so that there will be a stabilization of the whole financial picture. So we won't have this manipulation and playing around with all the money systems in order to reap gigantic profits that the financial elites have done. And it's completely immoral, and it's not going to continue. That's part of the plan as well. There's going to be a whole new reorganization of the political system, and there will be new criteria for running for office. So the people who will be eligible to run for any office will have to be able to show or prove in some way that they have the capacity to fairly represent the people's interests of those they are supposed to be representing. And if they cannot prove that or not, and if they've had any dealings where they have manipulated or stolen or misused their power, they will be completely ineligible for office anywhere in the world. That's part of the that's part of the goes along with the financial.
About time.
Yes, indeed. I mean, it seems now. I know this all can sound so out there compared to where we are in the world, but the reality is that there is a tremendous amount of movement going on in the world right now towards this goal. I mean, yes. You see it in all the exposés coming out about all the secret programs and all the secret dealings and doings that are going on everywhere. All this stuff coming out is beginning to, it is weakening the power of the control forces, the cabal. Right. They are losing power tremendously. I mean, the fact that many of the inventors of free energy systems have now come forward and are making those inventions known and public and available on the internet, because they see that previously they would have been totally persecuted by the cabal if they had done that. Now they have seen that power for them to be able to do that and hold that, suppress and control is fading. They do not have the same power they had before. And therefore, these many inventors, many other whistleblowers and all kinds of people are coming out and sharing so much information that it's no longer possible to hide all of this stuff. Sunlight is the best disinfectant. And so here we have sunlight pouring in and showing what's going on in so many of these different areas. And that's part of this whole new cycle that we're entering into.
Thank you for that. And you know what, Gordon? I'm glad the way that you're expressing this is making sense. Well, it makes sense to me because I have been hearing these types of whispers, so to speak. Even my own guides back in the 90s had mentioned something about, those at a lower vibration moving to another plane of existence to continue their own work. And as well, I've been hearing whispers on the internet and bloggers and whatnot about how the financial situation. I think you mentioned the Asian market. I think that's what I've been hearing as well. How it's kind of starting there, and we're going to see I don't want to say a redistribution of wealth, but a funding of things to help the planet and to help those who are helping the planet, so to speak.
Absolutely. That's definitely it. It's very complex, and I could go into a lot of detail about it, which I know, but It's a very, it's a lot of detail. I don't think it's necessary. But basically, there will be a new currency. It will be backed by gold, the gold held by these Asian families, the White Dragon Society, and others who have these vast caches of gold, as well as gold coming to the planet from off planet, held by the Light Alliance, which will be here to back the currency. So everybody knows that that currency is totally solid, and there will also be commodities involved, and therefore we'll have total confidence in it because it will not be managed by the cabal. It will be managed by the Light Alliance for the good of all humanity.
No more monopoly money. No more fiat money.
The Federal Reserve will be extinct. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Actually, and we've only got about 2 or 3 minutes before this commercial break, but can you ever so quickly maybe describe what makes up the Light Alliance? Are they entities from different galaxies, different dimensions, the Light Masters, a combination?
All of the above. They definitely includes the masters themselves, and they have their own ashrams and groupings on the inner planes. It also includes beings from other planets and other systems, Pleiadians, Arcturians, Sirians, and many others who are definitely involved in this incredibly important moment in human history. There has never been a moment like this in human. We call this election, we in the Light Alliance call it the destiny election. It's really going to determine the destiny of each individual and of the planet, because the choices that people make, even in the United States, even though it's just this United States, is going to have an impact throughout not only through our planet and all nations throughout the galaxy. It's going to have a huge effect. And we could go into that more later if you like. And we are moving into a time when we will truly be free to be divinely creative, working with these higher dimensional beings directly in communication and in creative imagining and holding energy and directing energy to actually build the world we have all longed for our entire lives and all of our incarnations.
Yeah. And I've been feeling that for years. I can definitely agree with that. I think many of us have been feeling that intuitively, that this is the direction we're moving in. And and for those, there's so much, we were talking about the exposition of corruption and things like that, and so much fear out there. We're hearing about going to war with Russia and China and this and that, and a lot of people who are just now waking up. Like you said, there's all this energy and there's this universal awakening of consciousness here on the planet, but some people are fearful that this is like the end of the world, and I say to them, this is just this is just the corruption being exposed. It's the end of the world. That's as right. We know it, but not the end of the world.
No, it's the beginning of the world.
Exactly.
But it is necessary. Like you have an infection, you have to lance it. You have to take out the poison and then allow it to heal. And that's what people are doing through all this kind of exposure. And there is also a tremendous amount of disinformation that's constantly put out by the cabal to generate the maximum amount of fear possible, because fear makes it easier to control people. And that is what we, as the Light Alliance, are constantly offsetting by saying the kind of things I'm telling people now and what other members of the Light Alliance are sharing is that this is a time of tremendous opportunity to make new choices for yourself, new choices for our planet. And as we make those choices, the universe and the Light Alliance is going to respond to those choices and support fully the positive new direction that we as humanity are choosing. But it is important that we make that choice. This isn't just going to be handed to us. Right. We have to choose it, and we have to focus on it, and we have to create it, and we have to help make it happen. So it is very important. Our human free will is a very important factor in this whole equation. But we are choosing in a good way. Humanity is waking up. People are seeing the truth of situations, and that's extraordinarily inspiring and helpful.
Yes, wonderful. And we're up at a commercial break, and when we return, we're going to continue our discussion with Gordon Asher Davidson. We'll be right back.
And now, back to your host, Bernard Alvarez.
And welcome back to the Just Bernard Show here on Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. We are speaking with Gordon Asher Davidson about the Galactic Earth-Light Alliance.
And the unfoldment is, in my view, moving inexorably towards this increase of light on the planet that will begin to ultimately manifest and permeate through our institutions, the finances, the political system, the medical system, everything, and start to shift things in a way that it's not really easy for us to imagine it. I'll give you an example. I've gotten a lot of information about what's going to happen after the day of revelation. And in fact, that's going to be the topic of my next book, which I'm trying to work on, but it's very difficult because of all the other things that I've got going in my life. But one of the things is we're going to have a completely different experience of time. Time will no longer be a fixed commodity, a past, present, future linear concept, but actually a spherical concept, where at the center of that sphere will be us, our own consciousness, our own power and presence at the center of this sphere of time. And from that center point within ourselves, we can journey into the past, the present, or the future, and we can begin to change it in positive ways. That's part of what we're going to be moving into. I have a name for what we're going to call the new era. Okay, it will be called We Are the World Evolution Ascended Reality Earth.
Oh, wonderful!
That we will be moving into this new reality, and that time will then be completely different in how we experience it. We'll be multidimensional, and that we will be able to move into and out of the different time periods and adjust it and work with it. There will be large groups of humans and galactics working together, which they call co-creative time adjusters. And they will traverse through time and through our history and change the causes and the events that have created so much suffering, and much of it, of course, caused by the cabal. They will create new alternative time realities where we make creative, intelligent, and compassionate choices, as the cabal's manipulations will no longer be actively present. This will free us to flow into these higher time patterns using massive group meditation and the creative power of thought, and calling in help from the Masters in the Light Alliance. So we're going to change our whole experience of what our history has been. The original experience of our history will still be available for reference and for learning from our original history. But the history we would remember in our mass consciousness and in the subconscious would be positive one that humanity has agreed upon to hold as our history. This provides a whole new view of how we can change our consciousness and recreate the entire experience of our history. I really like this concept.
I kind of hear it as like karmic repatterning, which is a good thing.
Yes, exactly, precisely, because karma. Once we move to the timeless dimension, which will be possible when we're fully in 5D, then from that perspective, that position in consciousness, we can help change the entire experience of time, including what we experienced in the past, are in the present, and will experience in the future. So it's all happening at that same eternal now moment, but we then have mastery over it rather than be, I'm running, oh my God, I don't have time to finish this, do that, right. Time becomes a cage, it's a trap, it's a horrible way to experience time, whereas saying time is a creative power that we can use to actually move forward in a new way. That's where we're going. Yeah.
Gordon, we're running out of time, and I'm wondering, for your last comment, I knew this was going to go by so quickly. I'm wondering, for your last comment, can you suggest what we can do as individuals, individually in our lives right now, day to day? What are some things that we can do to help, I guess, anchor this light, this new light on the planet?
Well, the first thing I always recommend is forgive everything. Everything you ever did, anyone did to you, anything that's ever happened on the planet, forgive everything. absolutely without qualification. Then open yourself to love and invite the matrix of love, which is that vast field of love, which is all around us, within us, everywhere. Invite that matrix of love to come fully, or for you to enter into it and to become closer, integrated and infused in that matrix, so that in that matrix of love, you know, without any question, without any doubt whatsoever, that you will always be safe, you will always be loved, you will always be guided, you will always be protected, and you will be given everything you need to fulfill your evolutionary potential, always. Because we are moving into a new world where the old conditions and the cabal's manipulations and all that has completely disappeared. And we are moving into a completely new world. That is the best preparation you can make to be participant in this new world that is emerging on the planet. And then, of course, it's all about what can you do? You know, you've got gifts, you've got talents, you've got abilities, and you've got experience. All of that is extraordinarily valuable. The question you want to ask is, how can you put all that to use to help further the agenda that we've been describing here? The agenda of the Light Alliance, the agenda of the Masters, the agenda for the complete and full liberation of human consciousness from all darkness into a field of lighted endeavor and joy and co-creation together, not only with humanity, but with the beings from beyond our planet, the galactic brothers and sisters, and with the natural world, with the animal kingdom, the plant and mineral kingdoms, all of them, all of us part of this incredible, creative, beautiful, lighted, radiatory planet that is our home, and which we are going to make into one of the most beautiful planets in our entire galaxy, because it is unique, because it has the physical dimension so beautifully created, and it's our work to make it reflect the inner beauty that the Light Alliance understands and holds, and is helping us to fully reveal and let radiate onto the planet.
Wonderful. And what beautiful closing words. Thank you so much, Gordon, and thank you so much for joining us today. Where can people find more information about your work? What is the name of that website again?
Yes, our website is livethefuturenow.com. And on there you can find some videos, there's a lot of articles and information, and there's also especially my Galactic news show, which comes on once a month, 10 o'clock on Saturday mornings. It's recorded, you can watch it anytime, which is an update and information that I'm receiving each month from the Galactic Light Alliance about what is happening, where it's going, and you can ask questions as well. It's a very popular program, and it's absolutely free.
Wonderful, that's great. And of course, Gordon's book here, the Transfiguration of Our World, How a Light Alliance is Transforming Darkness and Creating a New Earth. I guess that's available on Amazon and everywhere around, right?
It certainly is, and you can sign on to our website list, and we will be offering some very interesting and exciting programs where we are going to go on a journey to a beautiful location in Costa Rica and invite people to come with us for a deep exploration of all these questions.
Great, wonderful. Well, we are out of time, and thank you so much, everyone, for listening today